feel it, like a soft, gentle spiral that comes into you as sound. That sound becomes like a movement. You know, you are never the same again. I think when you do such an experience and you are prepared for it, and you go into the water and into their environment with love and reverence in your heart, you experience, like I have experienced, them sending to me the sounds which the waters of the ocean then transform into spirals that move according to the very way your own chakra system is spiraling, and you are filled with this love. It is so extraordinary because they are healers, you know, and they are healers greater than any of us in human form probably will be able to be. Did you know that any person, that a lady that is pregnant and goes into the water, immediately all the dolphins in the area will come and beam and sound this baby. Sometimes even without the woman knowing that she's pregnant. That has been the behavior always of dolphins, you know. And of course, if you prepare beforehand, then it's even more of a sacred experience. And I'm going to do this in Mozambique in this year, in May, again. So I'm quite excited.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
You talk about nature spirits, too, and I'm very curious about how they manifest for you and how we can be more in tune with the nature spirits.
Oh, you know, it's just, for me, because I am a so-called clairsentient, in other words, I filter all my psychic gifts through my heart, so I feel them, you know, but I think my most powerful experiences with them has been to manage them, to move a branch of a tree to caress my hair. For me, that has been interaction at such level of loving and such level of connection that I sat under a tree, in fact, sort of a bush, not a big tree, but with branches a little bit above my height. And then I asked all the nature spirits and all the elementals of my garden, please just touch me. And I see the branch lowering itself and touching my hair. And for me, that filled me with so intense bliss. And it's like, you know, it's like being able to give back this little bit of love and then receive it a millionfold, you know. And it is an experience also that you never forget. But I must tell you something, I only managed twice.
It's funny that you should mention that because I was walking my dog and thinking about that, you know, wouldn't it be wonderful if a tree just reached out and kind of caressed my head? And it's so funny that you've had that experience.
Yes. Well, I have such an extraordinary love for trees that is why I was telling you I probably put them on top of the organigram if I had anything to do with the redesigning one about living love and consciousness, I'll probably put trees on top, you know. But I have such a love of them that on my first trip to Mozambique as a grown-up, in other words, when I went back to swim with the dolphins, I received a visit at night of forms of consciousness from our space brothers, if we could call it that way, or interdimensional forms of consciousness. They manifested for me like a little ball of light with two wing-formed shapes of light as well. And they were standing there and vibrating in front of me until they started communicating with me telepathically. And before I knew, I was removed 3,000 kilometers away almost instantaneously, and I saw myself, and I was myself, within the great forests of rare trees in the northern Mozambique, namely the ebony trees, the few that survived there, and rosewood trees. Those are trees of extraordinary rarity. And so they are endangered like everything that is rare in our planet. And there I found myself with these beings talking to me telepathically and offering me an experience that I, again, will never forget. I was given the opportunity to experience what is to be a molecule of a tree.
Wow.
And so because they are beyond shape and beyond material form, so they can take any form at will, obviously. So as they were explaining that to me telepathically, it was like almost in a wink saying, would you like to experience yourself being a tree? And I thought, wow, I'd love being a tree. So I was a molecule of a tree. So I went up and down the branches, the leaves and the roots and everything. And it was the most extraordinary experience to be in this oneness with the tree. So my love for trees only increased exponentially, if that is even possible. So I had truly this very, very, very deep love for them. And perhaps that is why the nature spirits were able to just fold a little bit, a branch to caress my hair.
Do we have a lot of help from our extra-dimensional and extraterrestrial friends and brothers and space family at this time?
Oh, yes. Do you doubt it?
Well, there's an awful lot of bad and evil in the world that seems to indicate that there's a lack of love. What are we to make of all of that? Is that just part of the unfolding of the great plan? I may sound simplistic, but this is how I perceive things. I tend to be simplistic. I tend to simplify instead of complicate. And I see things as an eternal play between light and darkness, between, this game of duality has been around so long. But then again, it is how things come to the fore. How would you know the greatest bliss if you have not experienced the greatest pain? You've been there. I've just read your book. You've been down at the bottom of all the darkest wells in your life. So I'm sure that you have also, because that is the law. It is a universal law. It's called actually the law of the pendulum. If you read, the ancient teachings of the great masters of ancient Egypt, like Hermes, the great Hermes. He taught all these principles, the principle of polarity, the principle of the pendulum. So you cannot experience intensity one way without the pendulum immediately falling on the opposite direction. So this is applying to, I suppose, our universe, and perhaps it is the experience of many other parallel universes. What is important then for us, once you know that, is to know that we have to master polarity. We have to master this pendulum. And instead of having it oscillating between one extreme and the other, we can then choose what Buddha came to teach us, which is the middle path, where, you walk this fine line, and if you want to visit extremes, then it's okay, but you are the master then of your ship. I have long ago decided to focus my energy, my attention, my gifts, my efforts, my time, my days, my years on what brings me pleasure and what adds to the equation of light on our planet. So I try as much as humanly possible to remind myself that I have that power to lead my ship in whatever direction I want to go. And when the universe sends me a surprise, which happens very often, and then I am sort of out of, and now, what next? I didn't ask for this one. What am I going to do here? That I'm still reminded all the time. You have the power to manage it. And I have found one simple way. Do everything with love. Handle everything with love. You know what? It might sound simplistic, but it works for me. Well, Lou,
I don't know what else to tell you. Really.
That sounds like
everything with love.
I think that's a perfect place for us to segue down to our last moments.
Really?
I can't imagine.
It's gone already.
It's gone so fast.
Oh, my goodness.
Would you be sure and tell the listeners how they can find your website and reach you to find out more about your books and work?
Okay. My books are only available really through me or through my distributor, as you can see on my website. It's easier to contact me directly. I am trying to create a new website with our friend Jean Udon, that I know is listening to me. Love you.
Oh, yes,
and,
yes.
He's trying to create a website for me to put the books on e-formats, you know. That will take some time. In the meantime, they are all published in nice paper form, obviously, in little hard covers. And that is available through my website at loubognon.com. So it's LOUBOGNON.com. My name in one word, loubognon.com. And I would love also to have feedback from your listeners and to continue this journey and to share myself, because ultimately, you know what, Lance, that is what we came here to do, to share ourselves. Nothing else matters. Every experience is just as honorable as the next, and everything enriches the life of our Creator, because we are atoms of His body. We are expressions of Him, and that is all we are, really. So ultimately, there is only love. We are love, and love heals everything. And I thank you again for inviting me. It was so wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much, Lou. I just love talking to you and feeling your energy and your work and everything else. And I also appreciate Jean Houdon for kind of bringing us together. So thank you again, Lou. And I send you my love.
And I send you my infinite love, and I send that to all your listeners. And I'll beam it around for a little while after I put the phone down, from sunny South Africa to the rest of the world, from the mother continent to the rest of the world. Thank you, and God bless you also.
All right. Thank you, and namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Good night, everybody.
Namaste.
Good night, Lou.
Namaste. Good night.